sheer strength of mind to me just means that you are in control of your body if you're in control of your mind. You can literally control anything if you can control your mind, and that has gotten me through so many different things, whether it's running, whether it's life, whether it's football, whatever it's been. If you can control your mind, and if you can sort of tell your mind to be quiet and not listen to your body, you can literally genuinely do anything. And I say to most people, like, you can literally, if you have an idea, you can do it. You just have to believe in your mind, and you have to sort of tell yourself that you're going to do it and commit to it. And when I'm running some of these distances, I feel like there gets to a point that if your mind knows that you're not going to quit, then your body will find a way through. So yeah, sheer strength of mind, that literally is sort of epitomizes exactly what all of this is. Yeah, I don't normally just have my food all on the kitchen bench, but today we do. Yeah, so in here, I've got every single thing I need for every hour. So we have hour 1 here, and it goes all the way up to hour 16. So if I don't finish it in 16 hours, I'm gonna run out of food. If you come through here, here's where I spent half my time training for it. Every Tuesday was the gym session. Hit about an hour and a half, an hour on the bike literally every week. Apart from that, I mean, I got my little cliche saying up there just to keep everyone happy. But yeah, every single Tuesday for this entire plan has been me in here doing my Bulgarian split squats and all that sort of stuff. So this has been key. I think an underrated thing when you're training for something like this is just how much you actually get in the gym and how important that is. So yeah, that's the gym. Yeah, so this is where, I mean, all the ideas always happen. So this is literally write all my thoughts on the wall. This is where I wrote the whole training plan out. So we've literally only got 2 more lines to tick off, and then we're there. And a few things that keep me going, a few thoughts that I think about when I'm running. But literally any idea that I come up with, just get chucked on the wall, and we try and make it happen. But yeah, kind of weird to think that there's only 2 more lines to tick off here before we have 19 hours of pain.
When Sam told me he was going to run 160 kilometres, I wasn't surprised. But as a mum, obviously, your first reaction is, really? Do we have to? And have we really thought about that sensibly? Yeah, a little bit of fear, but not surprised at the same time. Sam's always wanted to achieve many different things from about the age of, I think the first time I remember is about the age of 9. We used to do a fun run from Mooloolaba through to Noosa, where you stopped at different surf clubs. And I think it worked out to be about 45 kilometres long. And even then, at the age of 9, he did every single walk or run with different people all the way. So he's always been, yeah, definitely one for a challenge.
Morning. Morning. Right, Nelly. That's it. There you go. Good, mate. Good to go. Couldn't sleep a wink after it 2 a.m. It's always the way. It's hard to conceptualize what it actually is that you're about to do. It's hard to think about the fact that all you're doing today is running. You know what I mean? It's so whack. Keep you going. That'll get you through it. But you do not feel like eating. There's not a bit of me that wants to eat pasta before.
Kind of have to though, hey?
Fuck yeah. I feel like that's gonna be the story of today. I think the most important thing is gonna be eating. But I'm gonna spend literally the majority of the day not wanting to eat. So, and I literally have never fueled for a run ever, so. bad day, but I like woke up at 2 and I had like no getting back to 2:30ish, 2:45ish. Mate, there was no getting back to sleep.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, can we just start?
We get does Nick drive us?
Yeah.
So you might not make the start one.
If he's not waking like 10 minutes, I'll just wake him
Huh? 5:20.
Do you have an alarm set?
Yeah, someone at 5 a.m. What the hell are you?
Oh, well, there you go. We brought the camera to say hi.
Morning, mate.
Oh, fuck.
So this all started because I think I saw something pop up on my feed about running a marathon. Someone ran a marathon, and I basically texted my mate and said, "What do you reckon? Do we run a marathon this weekend? No training, no preparation, no nothing." And he was crazy enough to be like, "Yeah, done. Let's do it." So we were just super naive. We didn't think it through whatsoever. I went to the shops probably 2 days before we ran, bought what I thought were good runners at the time. He bought what he thought were good runners, both dirt cheap. And we just went out and we ran. And I think it took us 5.5 hours to complete. And it was the most pain I'd ever been in my life. And if we had the opportunity to get picked up and go home, we would have. But we did it early enough in the morning. No one was awake to even pick us up, even if we wanted to. So from there, that sort of hooked me. I was like, as dumb as that sounds, in the moment it hurt, and then afterwards I was like, the sort of pride you have in knowing that you've overcome the mental battle of it and being able to control it yourself is something that, you know, I sort of craved, and from then on I wanted to do more events like that. I decided to do this run probably in March this year. I'd just come off the back of doing a run around the world with my dad, where we sort of raised some money for charity, and I thought, you know, what could I do next? In the meantime, I was playing football, so I didn't really have an opportunity to obviously do anything. But as I sort of knew that chapter was going to come to a close, I started to think, you know, what's going to be my next adventure? And for some reason, sort of the number 150 hit me, and I was like, let's do a 150k run. So I sort of started to look at the map of like, where is 150k's from Brisbane, which took me to probably just above Byron. And that, I was happy with that. I was like, let's do that, you know, run to that point. And then probably a week later, I saw someone talking about 100 miles. And obviously 100 miles is 160k's. So I was like, let's just do 10 extra and make it 100 miles, rolls off the tongue a bit better. So then I decided, you know, let's just go to Byron Bay. So that was kind of it. I just thought, yeah, let's do something bigger and better. And turned out that from Brisbane to Byron Bay is about 160k's.
Dad, could you like what part of the school?
Just Google Rochdale State High, and it's the part that Google tells you.
Okay.
Song suggestions?
Whatever hyped you up to run 160k's to
Yeah,
Byron.
you need to play like one of those.
Oh
Shit.
What was that?
No, it's the tow bar. Nick's not used to driving. He's still learning.
You need to play like this.
I don't think anybody's used to the tow bar hitting the ground.
I've done it a few times in my life. Oh, Jules, you're gonna like this song, man.
What the fuck is that? I thought I'd have to take the motorway.
It's actually better once you get to the start, eh? You got like, what else are you gonna do? You just gotta run. Feeling decent now, yeah. That's good.
to be fair.
Yeah, the nerves, I don't even think the nerves the day of were the worst. I think the nerves probably a week out was by far the worst, because up until that point, all I was doing was training. You know, every day was like, okay, let's just train for the next day. You know, let's just get to the next day, do the run, you know, whatever the training plan said. I didn't even really think about the actual run. But a week out, you know, you start to taper off significantly. You're not really running too much, and it started to like sink in, like, oh my goodness, like, you know, what am I actually about to do? Yeah, the start line was a weird one. Like, I can't quite describe what that feels like to be at the very start of a 160 kilometer run, knowing that, you know, you're probably going to be running for anywhere up to, you know, a day. I think the main thing that kept me going was just knowing that for me, this was the start of a journey to see what I'm capable of, and all the training, you know, that I had done was led up to this moment. So for me, it was, you know, let's see if the training's paid off. Like, let's see how far I can go. And I think the closer I got to the start line, the less nervous I got, and the more sort of excited I got. Like, here we go, you know, let's jump in the fire and let's go attack this thing. So yeah, I think by the time I was on the start line, I was like, well, what am I going to do now? You know, I've got to run. That's what I told myself I was going to do. I remember the biggest surprise to me, debatably of the entire thing, was the first 10K. I had looked at the route, but I hadn't like thoroughly gone through every single bit. I hadn't, you know, actually gone and walked it, or hadn't seen it necessarily. And that first 10K was genuinely the hilliest run I'd done in any. I think I said that when I got to the stop. I was like, this is the hilliest run I've done in all of my training. Everything by far. So I think that was a bit of a shock to the system.
Like literally all the way to Tweed Heads. Yeah, it was road.
Where's the seat thing?
I don't really know the map.
Where'd you put the seat thing?
Like, oh my God, like my legs already hurt. You know, my legs already hurt from the hills. You know, and I'd attacked that like a normal 10K run, running up the hills. So whether that had an effect, I don't know, but I wasn't too smart that first 10K. You're excited. When I first started, the first like 3, 4, 5K was still pretty excited. But as soon as the hills started, I was like, oh geez, like if this is how hard the first 10K is, like the rest of this is going to be an absolute battle. But I don't think at any point in that was I sort of dreading it. I was still excited. I was still keen to get going. And the one benefit I had in that first 10K was I knew where I was finishing. That's the one thing I like was certain of, was that at the end of the sort of conservation park that I was in, at the end of that was my first stop. And once I got to my first stop, that obviously marked sort of the first finish line of the run, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think it was definitely hard on the mind, but it was exciting, and it allowed me to actually kind of process what I was doing. And I'm glad I did that by myself, because it sort of allowed me to process it and allowed me to think about it, and sort of allowed me some time to actually enjoy the run by myself, because for the rest of it, like, I was pretty much with people for a lot of the time.
That way. Fuck yeah. Maybe not. Oh, we fucked it. U-turn. Yeah, U-turn. That way. I've done that like 4 times, eh? Yeah, just grinding. Yeah.
That first stop was pretty cool, to be fair. I was like, oh wow, this is actually a team event now, you know, like up until that point in all my training, every single run had been by myself before most people were awake. You know, came home, you know, my brother would still be asleep. Like, there was no sort of like hype before it. So then to actually be in the thick of it and get to that first stop and see them there and have the food prepared and all that, I was like, wow, like this is actually something special, a memory that I'm gonna share with my family, with my mates. And it did show me just how, you know, how much of a team event these sort of ultra endurance running, or any ultra endurance event, can be. So yeah, it was pretty cool to me, and sort of changed the context of the run a little bit.
How far is that now? 30K.
30K, so next one's Mara. Shit, yeah. Quarter down.
Feeling good?
Yeah, feeling fine. So far, so good. Time feels, I don't know about you guys, but it doesn't feel like an hour.
Time's quick. Yeah, it's very quick.
It was good to have Jules out on the run. I mean, he was just funny, man. Like, he was just singing half the time. It brought you know, good vibes. You know, I remember just after the second stop, I think we were riding kind of not on a main road, next to a main road, and he hadn't had a helmet, and a police car drove past. And you know, just small moments like that. It was pretty funny, and it kind of lifted the mood a bit.
Put that in the documentary.
Got that one in 4K.
Oh my god.
It's already too horrible.
So this is my friend. He's
To wet.
I don't know.
Let's get it the next checkpoint.
So firstly, Finn told me that he was going to run, and I sent him through the route. Well, I thought he was going to be at the start, to be fair, like from what we'd messaged about. And then when he wasn't at the start, you know, my mind sort of shifted to the run. You know, I wasn't too fazed by it. And then, yeah, to see him in like Pham, like in one of the most random spots of the run, was quite surprising. And I think that was good again. Like, it gave me a little boost. And that's where it started to get really hot. So it was nice to have someone alongside me for that. But in terms of whether it was better to have a runner or a cyclist, like, it didn't really bother me. At the end of the day, they were all going my speed. And no, it was really nice to have people there. But yeah, when Finn came again, it just lifted the energy a bit, and it was a nice surprise sort of in that, just after that marathon, a bit of a celebration, I guess, for finishing the marathon. So yeah, it was cool. It was awesome to have him there.
You're gonna say that I ran with you? You're gonna say on my 160 that I ran with Finn?
I'll give a little shout out.
Finn's gonna put his Sam Flannery ran with me.
Yeah. Well, he's not wrong.
To Byron.
It's pretty depressing to say that. A quarter of the way I've done, what, 40k?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. What's the time looking like at the moment?
10 minutes. Oh, 6 minute
What,
Ks?
as in Ks
Yeah,
or
Ks.
6 minutes?
5:30?
Yeah.
Mate,
Come on, keep this up the whole way.
my plan was go quick, or go quicker. And then
Also, I
I'll
saw
slow
in your
roll
plan that you've got to get into Byron at 10 p.m, not 1 a.m.
Oh yeah, it's not happening realistically. But
Well, currently you're on track, a quarter of the way through.
yeah, but it's fucking sauna now.
Yeah, the heat. To be honest, after that first marathon, I think I remember getting to this, like the fourth stop, and just saying like, it's getting hot. Like that, I think that was like my 3 words. You know, like it was starting to warm up, and that next run, the first leg that Finn joined, was brutal. Like, you know, you can talk about the rest of the run, whatever. That was a completely different ball game, because for me, like, this was still only the start of the run. You know, there's over 100 Ks to go, and it was probably the hottest run I'd done, you know, up until that point in all the training. And it was just, it felt like it just went on and on and on. And we were running literally like, there was no cover. You know, you're on the concrete, so it's just bouncing up on you. I still at that point had my, like, you know, running vest on, you know, I could put my water in and still have my cap on. And I remember getting to the end of that, and I was like, something has to change. And the fact that I was saying that early in the run was probably quite concerning to everyone around me. For me, it was sort of just something that I was saying, but yeah, something had to change. And then when I got to that stop, you know, I took my cap off, took the vest off, and it did heaps going to the next one. But yeah, that 10K felt like it took forever. I think my actual running pace was well quicker than what my projected speed was, but it was those stops that sort of killed me in terms of that. But yeah, I mean, by that time, I wasn't really thinking about the time. I was just thinking about the heat and how brutal it was, and just trying to, I guess, find a way to get out of it, find a way to change. And I remember that was probably my longest stop up to that point, because I just had to sit down, reset, and cool down, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, way better. Since I took my the bag off, it was way better, and my cap was just like it was like a scarf, man. Like my head was burning, so that was much better. Still towards the end, it's like still really hot. Better.
I wanted to do something that was bigger, more challenging on paper in one go, because I think the idea that the knowledge that I'm not going to get a chance to rest and lay down and have a sleep and then wake up and, you know, try and complete the next one is super daunting. Like, no one wants to do anything for a full day. I could not think of literally anything being enjoyable for 19 hours. So I sort of, you know, chose my heart and decided that, you know, let's attack a 160K in one go and see how we feel after it. And again, it's all learning and I have no idea what it's going to feel like, so why not?
It's probably only another like 2 hours of like heat. But then once that's done, it should be cool. And then it's just the body. But she'll be right.
I think it's safe to say, like, the 80K mark, like halfway, yeah, even though it was the furthest I'd ever run, like, I was feeling pretty good. In my mind, I'd probably made the whole thing sound way worse than it had to be. And I mean, I remember how badly I was in sort of like the like untrained 70K run I did. So I think in my mind, that was kind of what I was comparing it to. But then having a good like 15 weeks of training changes that quite a bit. But by the time I was at 80K, like, I was feeling pretty decent. Like, don't get me wrong, it was like, you know, so hard, but I was feeling pretty good. You know, I was so happy to be at halfway.
Halfway, buddy.
Let's do that again.
How we going, son? Hi, Shawnee.
Yeah, having everyone around me, I guess there was more people at that point. That was sort of the changeover of like the crew. So that was a really nice point. I really enjoyed that. And yeah, I managed to just sort of sit down and process that. And again, I didn't really think too far ahead, but it was like a small milestone of like, wow, yeah, furthest I've ever run, you know, only another 80 to go.
Look, he's 80Ks down at the moment, and yeah, it's the furthest he's been by 10Ks. To be honest with you, I think he's got it from here. It was probably the first 80. Get through that heat. It's cooled right down now. I think that he's probably got it from here. I think with that heat out the way, he'll smash through it.
Only another 7.5 hours to go.
Light work, baby.
Why? I don't even know what 7.5 is. It was like one, mate.
I guess the beach side just brought other challenges. Like, there was so many runners, you know, sort of not dodging them, but just another thing to think about. There was also a lot of traffic lights. That was a big thing, although it kind of gave me a chance to stretch and sort of recover from, you know, the little legs in between that. That probably made everything slow down a bit and, you know, took a while. So especially through that main Gold Coast stretch to get to like the beach walk, there was a lot of traffic lights. So that was a bit of a mental challenge of like, oh, here we go. We're going to stop every, you know, whatever, a minute. And that was a bit difficult, but the wind wasn't really a problem.
All right. Shall we? So,
Come on, boys! Come on!
I'm
In
ready.
case you need some encouragement. Come on, another 100K!
Having Sean and Ben there was awesome again. I mean, Shawnee's a mate of my brother's, and you know, up until that point, we probably didn't know each other that well. Like, you know, we obviously sort of had this connection through running, through ultra endurance, but you know, having him there was just so good. Having a different face around, you know, actually being able to sort of meet him and speak to him about you know, his story, what he's been through. You realize, like, you're not the only one here, you know, like, he's done a 90K trail run before. So having someone like that with that amount of experience, and, you know, this might sound stupid, but on the run, you know, he was telling me, run on the grass as much as you can, because otherwise your joints are just going to get absolutely battered and bruised.
Pace is going steady. We're about to slow down. We've just hit the 50 sign. So here we go. Slow it down a bit, lads.
that probably saved me there for a little bit, like just being able to run. And it came with that experience and sort of the knowledge he had. And if he wasn't there, I would have been running on the concrete for as long as I could, you know? So it was awesome to have Shawnee there. And I mean, Ben is literally there for anything hard I've ever done, you know, anything easy. But he's just there for everything that I consider important. And to have him there, like, it's like literally a safety blanket of just like, all right, he's going to take care of everything, you know, like he's you know, so smart logistically. He's going to have everything covered. And for me, like as soon as he got there, I could switch off and just run. And yeah, him join, I think literally probably from that 90K mark all the way through to the end, he almost did every single leg, whether on the bike or running. And, you know, you just can't be more grateful to have people like that around you. Like, it is just so special.
Are you feeling that? I know what you're saying, bro. I don't have a job. I never liked them. I just wanna play in the sunshine. They said I was wrong, but I know better.
My whoop is absolutely wigging out of Hey! How you doing? Good? Great. Where's your mum? Great.
Are you not in the same? Oh, should you still see we're 30 minutes away? Yeah, but
The next one, the 100K.
Yeah, 97. Does it take me right to the border? It does, eh? I think it takes
the original one. I think it was.
Yeah.
Well,
bang on,
no.
just go.
Your one's right.
It's good now,
The
yeah.
only thing that happened was I put one in that was like 2Ks. A checkpoint that was like 2Ks from another one.
Yeah.
our last Sam was the one who took it.
Was that a PB for you?
No, the last marathon I ran was pace 5, that was pace 6.
Sure. Is that,
Is that the first you've ever run?
No, that's the first I've ever run, but it's not the first
Talk about
marathon.
Winter comes, I'll turn around. Take me back to the sweet times, the hot nights. Everything is gonna be alright. In the summertime, baby, in the summertime. Even if I have to wait till next year, I don't care. All I know is I'll meet you there in the summertime. In the summertime. That is where I'll be. Yes, it is. That is where I'll be. I can't complain. 'Cause I'm still
I was with Sean, I want to say Sean and Ben. Yeah, just Sean and Ben, I'm pretty sure.
Picked up someone else.
Oh, Leo maybe. Yeah. Leo potentially was there. Yeah, Leo was there. So I think it was me, Ben, Sean and Leo running. And yeah, you're right. Like it was probably like 5:30-ish and we were sort of running through the, you know, just on the beach walk. And then my map was kind of telling me some other way. And then Sean's map was sort of saying, well, if you do that, you're not going to, you know, get to where we wanted to. So we kind of combined the two, found the best route, what we thought was the best route. Turns out that was just up and down, hill after hill, but not even hills, like stairs. Like we literally had to walk/run upstairs, all whilst it's going, you know, pitch black. So we had, you know, literally no light. Yeah, but again, that was kind of fun. Like moments like that was kind of fun. As silly as that sounds, it sort of distracted me a bit, you know, took away from what it didn't, you know, I wasn't thinking about the finish line or how far I had to go. Like I was just thinking about how annoying it is that it's dark and have, you know, be with those boys. Like it was, you know, you couldn't ask for better people to be there with you. Like they didn't care. I didn't care. Like we sort of all just got on with it. But yeah, that was a killer. The stairs was just a factor that I hadn't even thought about. So to have them, especially when it was going dark, was definitely not convenient.
Welcome to New South Wales, Sam.
Hang on.
I couldn't believe that it picked up all these extra runners.
It's alright. It's not the worst in the world. It's just like every step weighs like 7 kilos.
So this is my next door.
100 k's down, under 60 to go. Fuck. Get excited.
Do you want anything?
I will in a sec. I'm just gonna chill out. Yeah. Shows that is unbelievable massive.
Do you need anything, Ben? What are you going to do next thing? Are you
No, I'm
running
fine.
again?
Oh, I think I might.
Or are you just going to come in the car?
No, I think I might ride the next one.
Ride the next one?
Yeah.
Go, I'll set up with.
Oh, cheers. Is the Mondeo close?
I don't think it's too far away. What do you need?
I just grab my lights from it.
Oh, yeah,
They
cool.
just snap onto it.
Yeah, cool.
Sammy, how does it feel compared to what you expected?
Yeah.
Got a chippy coming tomorrow to help me.
Better, probably. I mean, I generally thought by this point I'd be fully broken. And I'm only minorly broken. So that's good.
What's hurting the most at the moment?
Nothing like hurts. It's just like, well, they do hurt, but like, it's just like everything's so tight that every step is just like there's no like load left in each muscle, so it's just like running on like concrete legs. You know, there's no spring, there's no nothing. I feel like a child again.
I was just going to say, it's like having a 5-year-old again.
Oh. What are you doing? Do you know? Are you done, Shawnee?
Yeah, all done, mate.
Thank you for doing that.
Pleasure running with you. Thanks for having me along.
Appreciate it.
All the best, eh?
Thanks, mate.
Is alright?
Yeah, he's in good shape actually.
Yeah. Running
He hasn't cramped at all, so that's a good sign for 100 kilometres.
It's not even, you know, normally you can feel the knots in the calves when you're tight. It's not even tight. It's quite impressive, really.
We slowed down for a couple of kilometres and then got a bit of a second wind again.
Yeah.
Last 5, so
Yeah. Cheering, isn't it?
going well.
Did he talk or did he just
Yeah.
focus?
He's pretty talkative, yeah.
Okay.
That's surprising.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was a bit,
We had a good 5 kilometres where it was a bit silent. No, he's in good spirits.
Okay.
8.5. 8.5. 8.5. 2 4s. Yeah, that's easy. 1 4, having great. Another 4, have a break, 500 metres. Easy. Not really. Not at all, actually. But 6 more to go. How many have I done? 10. 10.
Mate, you're about to, on this run, you hit 100.
I actually couldn't give a fuck about. I thought I'd actually care about the 100 I actually do not give a fuck. I actually could not care about it. Yay! 500. 60 to go. Fuck. I thought like in my head it was like first marathon would be like good, then like 80 because halfway, then 100 would be exciting. 100 is not exciting at all. 120. That's the next one.
That's exciting.
Yeah, well, because
Say that now.
it's a quarter of the way, three quarters of the way. All right, let's do it.
All right, hang on. Do you want a headshot? We're all friends here, Ben.
To answer your question again, Ben, I feel shit. I've come to the realization.
Leo, get out of it.
Nah, bro, get in here. You need to show off the jacket.
Yeah,
Oh, here we go. Wait, can I use this one?
This one will be better for you. This one is going to rub on your face, and you want to do as little friction as possible.
Oh, can you tighten it a bit?
Yeah, the brighter it goes, less burn time getting it. So just use the medium. Yeah. Okay. Can you tighten it again, please? Yeah. So it's just a strap, you just pull it like that. Just hold the base while you're pulling it. No. Use your other hand.
No, I know what you're doing. Yeah, but it's
right?
full. Yeah. Well, shall we?
Where's the one?
Yeah. Dad's got all the gear, right? It's like a test run for all his boys. Even if it's effective, even if it's not effective, you'd see. Oh, little dog collar.
He's got the shock collar.
Yeah, 100k was definitely when like my body started to feel it. I think that's where I changed my shoes. And that turned out to be a really good decision, but I changed my shoes sort of at that 100k mark because I was just like it's getting a bit monotonous, you know, like I need something to sort of change. It's getting dark, and the dark brings with it multiple challenges, including you're wearing a head torch. You can't really see that far in front of you. Even with street lights, you know, really you have to pay attention to only 2 meters in front to make sure you're not going to trip over something. So I think the mind and the body started to take a bit of a toll 100Ks in, although I will say I think I felt far better than I had imagined I would 100Ks in. I thought I would be, you know, like crying for help, and to just be saying, you know, I'm starting to hurt was probably, you know, a pretty good sign. It's funny, like half the time I try to persuade myself it's fine, and I try to go, oh, it's sweet, it's sweet, it's sweet. But I feel like you can only do that for so long, and it becomes a point where I'm like, no, you know what, like I'm actually fucked right now. Like this is actually brutal. And that kind of, in a way, helps me, allows me to be clear in my head and be honest with myself. And as you say, just acknowledge it and not lie to me or anyone else.
10 hours and 5 minutes of running. What the fuck?
Yeah, I think you can grit your teeth. Like people say, you know, just do it with anger, do it with grit, you know, just bite your teeth and get through, you know, and there's a time and a place for that. But I find personally, like if I go into this sort of state of anger and grit my teeth and try and push through, you know, that gives me like a minute and a half of like, you know, good performance. And then after that, I'm just drained because suddenly my body's like, you know, I can't keep doing this. Like it is actually hard. So instead, especially in these longer stuff, like I feel like, you know, you may as well just be honest with yourself and say it out loud, because then you get it off your chest, you're not hiding it. And when you hide, you know, these sort of feelings and emotions, it starts to build up, and then, you know, you probably have some side effects that you don't really want. So for me, it's just like, be honest with yourself, and then you're not actually hiding anything. You can literally just focus on running. And I mean, a lot of the time, I'm not even thinking what I'm saying. I just kind of say it because I'm hurting. So, yeah.
Nice work, Claire.
How was the route? Was that your dodgy route? I've got you some.
Okay, yeah, there's here.
It's a bit different. Want me to massage your shoulders again?
Oh, I love that. Oh! Hello.
How you going?
Hi, hello. I'm going great.
Not dying too much.
Just minorly.
Oh man, that was special. I mean, running to every single checkpoint and seeing even just, you know, your mum and dad, or, you know, your brother and mate, like even just the two of them, it's special. And as I say, it makes it feel like something that we're all involved in. But yeah, I think that was around 110K-ish. Yeah, and we had like my godparents from the Gold Coast there. You know, we had my mate who was running with me, his whole family just happened to be down there. They were all there. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was a few more people there, and it was just special. Like to see people go out of their way on, you know, a random Saturday night or Sunday morning, whatever it was, you know, for no reason other than to support you was just so special. And to sort of, you know, have them cheering for you, it kind of, I guess at times of the run, it feels really lonely. You feel like you are literally the only person in the world doing something hard. And then when you have this sort of support, and even just, you know, I think probably 100Ks in, I started to sort of check my phone for messages on Instagram. And it was just so special to have this support and go, wow, like people actually care. And I'm actually doing this to inspire people. And it was definitely a special moment. But when I turned up, and fortunately my godmother is a physio, so I got a nice rub down at that station. But it was. Yeah, it's moments like that you realize, wow, this is more than just me.
I feel like that one was a bit hard. We got to walk a few big hills. And what are we now? 100, 110 Ks?
Yeah, 50 to go.
We've still got 50 to go. I can't imagine how that would feel, I think that would feel pretty challenging. Especially because everything just seems to feel a bit more intimidating at night, and the route kind of only gets worse from here. So I feel like he'd be in a bit of a down spot at the minute. But if he can push through the next kind of 2 segments, get to 30, 40 Ks to go, then I reckon it'll tick back up again. Yeah, it's just a really tough distance to go at the minute, like 50, 60 Ks, it's steep.
Yeah, 14 hours in and you gotta
14 hours in, can't quite comprehend. But I think we go one more segment here, and then one whole segment is pretty much running through like a hiking track in a bush, and that might kind of be the stairway to heaven, that hiking track. When we come out of that, we're almost there. So yeah, hopefully in a few steps, in a few legs, he can begin to kind of see the finish line, you know what I mean?
I guess it started, I definitely noticed it, like when you go from running every single K almost up until like the sort of 100K mark, and then sort of having to run, let's say 4 or 5K, then walk, 200 meters, then go again, that definitely changes the dynamic of the run. And you're thinking about that. I guess you're not stressed about how long it's gonna take, because the reality is I knew it was gonna hurt. I knew it was gonna take a long time. In my mind, I sort of knew that it could take up to a day, it realistically could. So I wasn't stressed by it, but I think it just changed how I had to go about it. And I think initially when I started doing that, what took a toll on me more was that there's people with me that have to slow down as well. And that's so boring for them. They're in, fine physical shape. They can keep running, but they're gonna have to run, walk, and suddenly this 10K for them takes way longer than this 10K typically would. Yeah, Cabarita, I think it was another phase of this is now a different run. There was many phases within it, but I think that phase became, we had on our map where we were running to, which I think at the time that I looked at it was another 2.5K to go to where we thought we were meeting. And then Ben got a call from my dad to say, that's too dark, you can't see anything, we're gonna go to this car park. And I think that added another 500 meters. And as dumb as that sounds, in the moment, 500 meters is a long way. That, it's a far way to just get to your next checkpoint just for some food. It feels like it's really far. So yeah, it was definitely tough to sort of push through that and go, okay, let's just shut up and get it done. And when I got there, I think that's when I started to notice a change in my fueling. My fueling was perfect. I genuinely think the fueling was sort of perfect throughout all the way. But I think at that point I needed something else. And that was the first point that I had my first sort of hit of caffeine. And that was so important at that time, I think, because as you say, I was pretty in myself. I was pretty quiet. I just sort of wanted to sit there. I didn't really want people to speak to me too much. I just wanted to kind of sit on the chair and think about my life decisions. So yeah, but I mean, it's in moments like that you realize how special your family are, and my mum making sure I had the caffeine and making sure I did eat, even though she could see that I really didn't want to do anything but just sit there. And encouraging me to get up faster and get on to the next thing. Because if I sat there for too long, then I would start to sort of stiffen up, and it would sort of raise the question of are you going to keep going, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's when you need people in moments like that. Otherwise, something like that is a very, very long run.
Does it feel to be doing it though?
Look great.
This is it, then. This is what you want to do. It's good. It's good. What we're doing is great. I'm very happy to do that.
Why do my dreams have to hurt so bad?
Yeah. Yeah. yeah, why do my dreams hurt so bad? I still think that's true. I mean, it's funny, like, I found in all the training runs and everything, people will say, you know, do you feel like giving up? And I feel like, or do you know, I'll finish every long run and, you know, mum and dad will be like, you know, do you still want to do this? Like, is it still something you want to do? Or like, you know, have you sort of had your time with the endurance stuff? You know, does it hurt too much, whatever? And like majority of the time, like the honest answer is in the moment, you're like, why am I doing this? Like, this is so pointless. Like, I'm not going to get anything out of it. I'm going to run 160 Ks for no reason. Like I'm literally going to get nothing out of this. And then when you finish, you get this like satisfaction, sense of pride that like, no way I've just done that. No way I've just committed to something and been resilient enough to sort of push through every single one of those thoughts and feelings. And unfortunately, yeah, my dreams do just happen to be ones that hurt and to be ones that include suffering. So I can't really tell you why, but for some reason I get some weird sense of pride out of it.
I didn't even notice the camera. I would have been locked in, bro. I would have been locked in. Bro, we've been looking at flashlights all night. I didn't even... like there's shit coming off of my head and my wrist.
It needs a special touch.
Go to be lighter, Leah.
No, I never thought about quitting through the whole run. I think maybe at that 50K mark, I was like, is there some way that like I can not quit, but like, is there some way that, you know, I can stop for like 2 hours and like, you know, the watch won't register it. Like, you know, I was thinking about like, surely there's got to be a way to avoid this heat. I kept going, obviously, but once I got deeper into the run, like, you know, I couldn't justify to myself doing 130K or 120K, whatever, and not doing 40K. Like that to me would just be stupid. Like you've done, you know, triple that. So you may as well keep going. But yeah, when I still had a marathon to go at midnight, I was like, that's when I sort of registered just how hard it was going to be and how long it was going to take. And I sort of registered like, okay, you know, I might be finishing at 4, 5, 6 in the morning, which turned out to be later. But yeah, in that moment, I mean, to be honest, I was probably too tired and too delirious to like actually register that. So again, for me, like every single part of this run was just about getting to the next stop. And it didn't really matter how many stops there were left. But that was still at the point, where mum had told me, I remember her vividly saying 4 to go. Like that was all she said, like 4 stops to go or 3 and then the finish, you know? And that put into context of like, oh my God, like I'm actually nearly there. So I didn't really care about, maybe everyone else in the support group cared about the fact that we had a marathon to go, but I, to be honest, just thought about the next stop.
Body feeling?
I don't even know at this point. It's like functioning, but barely.
Is this what you were expecting at this point?
Way better than what I was expecting, to be fair. Oh, that's cool. I'm still doing 2Ks on, 2Ks on, rest, 2Ks on. So we should 4 2Ks. Just lost another 700 meters because Dad's not.
Guess what?
Oh my God, it's busy.
Is it your first time having that?
Yeah. First time for everything. My teeth gonna rot now?
Yeah, we're
What's the second time?
Just this
Mum
one.
always told me if I think one mistake I made was as that sort of like, you know, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., when the sleep deprivation started to hit, I just kept with the same fueling strategy. And I only at the 120K or whatever it was, 110K mark, when that was my first sip of caffeine, I didn't have any after that. So I think in hindsight, I should have kept going on the caffeine to give me a bit more energy. Because yeah, as I sort of started to slow down and there was a lot of sand involved, a lot of soft sand involved and a lot of slow periods where you had to walk a bit, run a bit, walk a bit, I you know, was getting tired and it started to show. And, you know, you know, the eyes go a bit blurry and, you know, but to be fair, I think I dealt with the sleep deprivation better than, again, I thought I would. But yeah, in hindsight, I would have had more caffeine to try and keep me going.
Is there a way we can split this next bit up?
We can split it up.
We can split it up.
Right, we maybe do like a pit stop before we go into the fucking track.
We checked out the route, right? There's a little bit, like 500 meters of the track, and then there's out into the beach. So if it's too bad, you can go out on the beach.
Yeah, more the fact that like it's an 11k leg. I'd like
we do 8k legs around here.
Yeah. Well, so to get to the next part of Tweed Coast Road, on where our maps were again, we had like a K to go to that point. And then I remember seeing on maps that Dad was another K down the road. And that was about 125-ish K, or nearly 130 Ks in. And realizing that, again, it was another one of those moments like, oh my God, I got to run another K just to get like my food. It felt like forever, felt like so far. So that was a challenge. But then, yeah, that's when the trail started to happen, and we got to the point where I was supposed to be running through a trail, and I was with Ben and Leo at that point. And I remember just saying, like, this is soft sand. Like in the daylight, I did actually walk that part in the daylight, and I was like, oh, sweet, like it'll be fine. But it turns out when you can only see a meter in front of you, and then that's your mate a meter in front of you, so you're only looking at his legs, that becomes really quite difficult. And I think it was like an 8K stretch to the next checkpoint. So I was like, look, we can't run this. Like, we're gonna have to walk it. And that's what I thought. And then Ben, I think, was like, screw that. Like, I'm not walking 8K. He just didn't want to do it. And completely, you know, fair enough. So whether it was that or whether he was trying to, you know, give me options, he said, let's run on the beach.
South Golden is...
It's going to say some fucking route.
Yeah, no, it's actually picked up this. South Golden is 4, and then New Brighton, that must be another like 1 or something like that. Well, I actually can't guarantee that, unfortunately. 1 or maybe 2.
Like, and he ran to the beach in front of us and tested it and basically said, look, I think it's hard enough that we can run on the sort of hard sand. You know, and the tide's not too bad, so like, let's give it a shot. And like at that point, Ben was the conscious one, and as I say, he's the safety blanket, so I listen to literally anything that he'll say. And so we went and we ran on the sand for the next 8K, and I'll tell you right now, running on sand on a beach might be the hardest thing you'll ever do at night, where you can only see a meter in front of you. I remember towards the end of that stop, the checkpoint, my dad was holding up a light to show where he was, and we were like, oh sweet, like the light's there. I think it took us probably another 10 minutes to get to that light, because you just have no concept of how far anything is. So that was so tough. But I remember looking, you know, to my left and right, and having Ben and having Leo. Leo never runs. I don't think Leo, in my entire friendship with him, has ever run. And here he is basically running on the soft sand, because I'm taking the hard sand, you know, for 8K. And like that in itself is just inspiring. Like to see my mate who never runs get up, you know, after it. He'd already run probably another 10K before that. So he's, you know, nearing on a half marathon on soft sand.
Yeah.
You go like, I have to, you know, I have to do this. Like, I'm the runner here. Like, you know, if he can do it, I can do it. So it was definitely, that was again another moment where it was just inspiring to have people around me, and for Ben to make that decision that ultimately probably sped up time was just insane.
All right. .5 to the first town.
Step into the scene. No, nobody can do it like me. Zoop house plate with the kick cuisine. I was the blacktop king. 360s in my green machine. I was a kid and I was breaking down doors. Listening to Tribe, now we on a world tour. We gave them hell and now we gonna give them more.
my sign to not run again. Nah, it was just the sand.
Yeah, it's rough on the joints, eh?
Doing soft.
It was.
Well, it wasn't like
It's actually
softer
alright.
than concrete though.
Did you go on the beach?
Yeah, the whole way.
Says it all beach.
Yeah.
I don't know where this rave is. I don't know whether this rave's on a beach or.
That's really cool.
There you go.
Mate, it's gonna be a long 20k.
It is. Especially on the beach. Is it tides out though? You can walk on the hard sand.
Coming out.
Oh, but like the focus, even just on like the light and everything. Is
The stars look amazing.
Oh, really?
that's fuck this. And it's about to be the longest 20k of all time. This is an underratedly rough part. You feel like
the beach is quite.
you feel like you're there, but you're actually nowhere near there. Hang on, man. Oh, leave it.
You alright?
Leave the blanket for a second. This one over there.
Do you have a jacket packed, Sam?
Yeah. Well, I've got one here.
You can ride, Ben.
Oh, yeah.
It's on the road.
No, let Ben
Or your
sleep
dad
or something.
can ride.
Let Ben
I
sleep.
can ride.
Dad can ride.
And then it turns into a trail. Turns into the Coast Fire Trail.
Right. Let me stretch. 140 k's in, I was just about done running wise. Like I was starting to really slow down and it was starting to get a bit brutal. And I think it was at that point where Ben had literally done the last, I want to say nearly like 70 k's, or what felt like 70 k's on the bike and running. And I think he, was starting to feel it as well. And and to be fair, my dad was, certain that he should be doing it. So when I got to sort of that 140k, that was tough. And that was probably the first part where I was like, all right, running might, there might be more walking here than running. And Dad can't really run at the moment anyway, because he's got a bit of a bad knee. So he was on the bike, but I was going that slow that he was literally getting off the bike, walking next to me for a bit. But I think it wasn't necessarily things he said, but it was just having him there, because obviously we did the runs around the world last year, and, being put in that scenario where, when we were doing those runs, we were sleep deprived, logistics were just all over the place. Mentally, it was a bit draining. Physically, it was draining. So to have him there was like, all right, like we're going to get this done, because he's there. And he literally committed to the last 20 Ks.
Coffee. Sweet.
No, I got enough in me to like jog a bit, like towards the end.
Did you drink some?
Huh?
Did you drink some?
Right, I'm like halfway through, it's ass, man. Oh my god. And then just threw it up, bro.
Is this your first ever coffee?
Oh yeah, bro. Bro, I've actually like had like so many new things today.
Energy drink?
Energy drink, Coke,
caffeine.
Coffee?
Yeah, just caffeine in general. It's first ever caffeine.
Bro, it doesn't do anything either. Only that oxy, what's it called? Oxy shred. That got me singing. Who drinks that shit, bro? How is that like the most popular drink?
That's a specific kind.
These words are my own. Oh, bro. I'm actually better full. I think that caffeine should put me to sleep.
I'll try.
From what my calculations were, that's 5k, so that'll take you to like 13 and a half to there. So shall we meet you at where we planned, at the Black Rocky?
No. I think we'll just, one way or another, we'll just walk it. I don't think you need to stop there. I think it's going to be really hard for you to get into it.
Well, we'll meet you at Elements then.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Can't take the bikes there.
What are you going to do?
Oh, this last 20 is so rough. It just drags on. And I have like absolutely no ability left in my legs. So it's like, I'm trying to like get it done quick, but like that's not physically possible. So yeah.
Yep. You jump up?
Every time I start, I get hot straight away.
Yeah.
I know, but alright, let's go do it.
Are you walking? What are you doing?
No, I'm running. Walking. Running with legs.
Let's go.
Alright. Bye. You right? You want that? You right? Very sure. You right?
Yeah, it's sweet.
Sure? Because if you're not, now's the time to say, well, that's it.
Yeah, the sunrise was brutal. I remember we were walking in this trail that we felt like we'd been walking in forever. And I kept checking my phone to see how far we still had on this trail, which was a terrible idea because our blue dot never seemed to get any further, you know. So I remember checking it. I think we were halfway through this like 8k trail that we had to be at, and the sun started to come up. And I was just like, there is no way I started this at sunrise and I'm about to see another sunrise. I haven't slept a wink and all I've done is keep putting a foot in front of the other. But again, like I was so tired and so deep into it that I didn't really think about it, and I just kind of kept thinking about going. But yeah, that was definitely a funny one. And I think the funniest part of that was having to switch my head torch off because I no longer needed it. And the sun went, that was definitely, yeah, quite a funny moment.
Get some sleep?
A little bit.
Any wise words to the camera? Don't do this, kids.
Do not recommend this.
Sam was not cramping, but he was bending down, stretching. So I got up behind him and started rubbing his butt and rubbing his legs, and I thought, geez, I hope no one walks by.
Oh yeah, look bad.
It's like every day at home, isn't it?
Maybe I got narrowed as well, bro.
That is blue as. That's nasty.
What? Zero.
I'm on the dirt.
You walk to the lighthouse, that's 5k.
It's so hilly, bro.
I know, man. If you walk halfway there and halfway back, it's 5k.
I need 6.7.
You walk 2/3 of the way there and 2/3 of the way back.
I thought it was 7.1.
Yeah, we could do that. Are you coming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you coming?
Yeah. Oh, it's up to, well, it's
Coming
up
for
to
a
Ben.
walk, mate.
I'm gonna get my steps in somehow.
Oh, I wonder how many steps I've done.
Yeah.
174,000. Oh my god.
24-hour period.
That's actually ridiculous. Did you hear that stat, Ben?
No.
174,000 steps.
Oh,
That's actually wild.
You gonna be old?
Oh, toe cramp. Oh, that's not ideal for walking.
I'm actually woken up now.
Toe cramp is not ideal for walking.
No, it's not ideal for
Oh, how's that even happen? I didn't even know your toes could cramp.
Where are you going?
And we just, yeah. Well, I think we're going to have to walk past.
Fun? Fast?
Past it.
Oh, right.
Fast, fuck no.
Sprint down the finish line, you reckon?
Mate. Just roll down the finish line. Wait, my average pace is 7 minutes, including like the 15-minute like walks.
Just all like moving time.
Oh, that's decent. Really?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I felt like I'd been walking on sand for the last, which to be honest, I had been walking on the sand for the last 10, 12 kilometers. Like, so to be at that point where I only had, yeah, well, I mean, I think when I saw the family, I still had another 5Ks to go just before Byron. And I mean, there was a little bit of like, okay, we're getting this done, but there was also a lot of like, you know, we're walking this 5Ks, like this is gonna take forever. And I kept doing the math in my head of like, you know, 12-minute Ks times 5, like, you know, an hour, like this is gonna take forever. Like we're not done just yet. And then again, to have all the boys and everyone that, you know, could walk with me meant that, you know, I had to keep up with them again, and my legs were battered by this point. Like I was knackered. So, but it was special to sort of be in Byron, you know, like actually be in Byron Bay, which was the entire point of this run. So to be there and finishing off in Byron was, you know, it almost felt like I was done and I had achieved what I had. So at that point, I was just, felt like I was just doing extras for the sake of it.
We're going beach.
On the beach.
Okay. And then beach, back, and then back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy days, mate. Almost done.
Yeah, I was going to run, but then I realised my hip flexors don't function.
They don't flex.
My knees don't function. Yeah, they don't flex. They're just hips. Oh my god, man. Finally I'm actually near the finish. I felt like I've been near the finish for like the last 4 hours. Turns out I haven't. No, because when you're like 30 Ks like left, you've done so many Ks, so you feel like it's not that much, and you realise it's actually still a lot.
Yeah, finishing was pretty surreal. I mean, I felt like I'd been walking for like days at that point, like, you know, because it had been so long, so many hours of basically not really being able to run. And to just know like I actually don't need to take another step now. Like I'm actually officially done this now, and I have, you know, no need to keep going was quite special. And again, just to see like everyone that had supported the second half of the run be there, like it's just so, you can't take that away. Like that's a memory that you're gonna have for the rest of your life. And I think everyone was as relieved as I was, you know, like you guys had been filming for like 30, 40 hours at that point. Like it was just ridiculous. And the team had been up, and I think everyone got probably a combined total of like an hour's sleep. Like, so it was kind of this like united like gratitude that, oh my God, we're finally here, we're done. But it's pretty surreal. And it was actually just the one word that comes to mind is just proud that I said I was going to run to Byron Bay. I didn't have any clue what that meant at the time. I had trained for 15 weeks. You know, I still couldn't really comprehend it. I spent the last week before the run just absolutely shit scared. And then to have done it all was like, you know, I did what I said I was going to do, and that was the entire point of this run. And, you know, I hadn't found my limit yet. Like, you know, I can keep going, and there's more on this journey. So it was a nice one to sort of be able to give me some closure that I know I can do this stuff and I am capable of hard things.
The slowest finish to a 100-mile race of all time. Yeah. 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 I mean, it's quite proud to be fair. It was not easy. The last 20 Ks was absolutely excruciating. I literally cannot run, so I'm quite quite proud to be fair. But yeah, this last like 2-3 hours has been absolutely horrible. Especially since I lost my ability to function. So yeah, quite happy.
How long left?
200 meters.
Yeah, looking back on it now, like, it was just like incredible. Like, the main thing I took away was that, like, it is not an individual sport. Like, this stuff is not like, you think of running and you think, you know, one person, you know, putting their foot in front of the other. But I think the most inspiring thing to me was the team that was behind it and the effort that had been put into every single little detail, and then to have just so many messages of support and love, and you know, you can't think of anything other than you know, how humble it makes you feel and how grateful you are that you had the experience. And again, it shows me that I'm capable of more than I think I am, and the amount of people that have started running and started, you know, buying running shoes to start their running journey just off the back of that is something you can't take away. And that wasn't the point. The point wasn't to, you know, inspire everyone around me, but if that's a byproduct of doing this stuff, well then you got to be damn grateful for it.
Don't go too crazy.
Yeah. Team huddle.
Yeah. Go, Sammy.
Right. No? Really good.
Swim?
I can't get out. Now I just hope it's not Strava.
Well, yeah, because if Snell Strava's not real, right?
Correct.
Well, I was saying that the 100 mile has some like weird decimal point on it as well that you need to get
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like 160.8.
0.906. Why is it not syncing?
So if it's not on Strava, it's not Strava, it didn't happen.
Oh my God,
Bit of a fetal position for you, mate.
That's the only thing that's comfortable, man. Anything else, I just can't move.
Last question. What's next?
Yeah, well,